Okay, this is a review of the Park Tool TM-1 spoke tension meter. Now, I reckon if you've got anything approaching a decent bike, this tool is vital in keeping you on the road. Also, I think everybody who's serious about cycling should learn how to check the tension of their spokes and also learn how to service their own wheels. It saves you a hell of a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of heartache, and it brings you closer to your bike. Caning about on a bike where the wheels have been built by you, yourself, is an astonishing feeling. I think that everybody should do it. So the most important tool, apart from your spoke key, is this, the tension meter. You cannot build or service wheels without one, no matter what anybody says. You can't pluck the spokes and listen to them like a harp, yeah? That's not how it works. You need one of these, okay? Now this is an analog spoke tool in that it's not digital. Now before we even start looking at the technical aspects of it, the price of this means that it's accessible to pretty much anybody. So you've got no excuse not to get one. And you can get these on Amazon. Price-wise, you're looking at about $70, $80 for one of these within, I think, most people's budget. So I'm going to do this video assuming that, most of you sort of know what a tension meter is, but are not experts, okay? So anybody who does know what one is, you don't need to watch this video, really, do you? And, sorry if you've heard it all before, all right? So basically, all this is a spring, and you squeeze this bit in, okay? This bit moves up and down. Your spoke goes through here. So you squeeze it open. The spoke sits in the middle. You gently close it. And then the tension, whatever tension's in the spoke, stops this thing fully sitting down. And wherever this part comes to rest, for example, like here, this will relate to a number on this part, which is the tension in your spoke. Okay? Now, the numbers on these parts are not actually Newton meter numbers, or they're not kilogram numbers. The numbers on this part here are reference numbers, which you then have to cross-reference with a chart that Park Tool give you. You look at the chart and you figure out what tension your spoke should be at. So, for example, if you have a Sapim CX Ray spoke and you look on the chart and you see that, if this goes to, say, 10 on this meter, then according to the chart, a Sapim CX Ray spoke at 10 on this meter would be about 85 kilograms of tension, for example. Then you know that if your meter goes to 10 on your Sapim CX Ray spoke when it's in your wheel, then that spoke is at about 85 kilograms. Okay, let's just have a little quick look at the construction of this thing then. It is quite simple. You've got this main plate here, which is brushed aluminium, I believe, anodized, a nice blue. This little bit here where your hand sits, that's plastic and just screwed on there. A little bit of movement there. Okay, not sure that's good. The arrow that points to these numbers is metal. It's got a little washer to make it smooth when it moves around. There's a hole drilled in it here, so you can hang this thing on the wall if you've got a sick laboratory that you do your stuff in. These little parts here where the spoke sits against, I believe these are steel. It's got a little line machined into it where the spoke goes, so that should sort of give you an indication of how it's supposed to work. This part here is the moving handle bit. That again is aluminium, brushed aluminium, and it's got another one of these slightly dodgy plastic things here, all right, to stop your hand getting shagged up on the edge of this metal bit. Flipping it over then, so really this is just a spring. Right? I don't really need to explain how that works. It's just a spring. And it is a spring that has been calibrated in the Park Tool factory. The calibration, I believe, happens here, where they screw down this part, which adds tension to the spring. There isn't a great deal more to say about how it works. What we're going to talk about now, though, is how it works in practice. I've built absolutely loads and loads of wheels with these things. It's not going to be as accurate as a really expensive digital one. And in terms of accuracy, when you use it, you will find that it's kind of got its own personality. I don't know how to say this. It's sort of consistently inconsistent. Say, for example, you have a spoke, which you've just added a bit of tension to, and then you check the tension here. Say, for example, that spoke reads at 15, say, for example. So you'll check it, gently open the tool. It will sit at 15. Then you'll open the tool again, take it off, put it back on the spoke, release the tension, like literally 1 second later, and this thing will be sitting at 13.9. So then you'll check the tension again, and it will have gone back to 15, for example. And then you'll check the tension again, going slightly mad, a bit OCD, and it'll be at 14.92, right? So it's not consistent, which isn't ideal, of course, but once you learn the idiosyncrasies of this thing, you can use it effectively. And like I say, I have used it effectively to build many, many wheels over the years. All right. So that's the first sort of in-use thing. It's a thing, isn't it? If you do choose to get one of these, know that that's the deal with it. Second thing, if you are on a wheel building frenzy and you've got, say, like, 3 or 4 wheels to build in a couple of days or a day, right? If you've decided to go down that road of hell, these plastic bits can sometimes get a bit sore on your hands. I do find, though, it's sort of like playing a guitar. The hands do toughen up over time. But like the first, couple of weeks or first week you're using this thing, these things are a bit, you get a bit red hands when you're using it. In terms of size to use it, I don't have particularly large hands. My glove size is small. Despite that, I can easily use this. With that in mind, I think that this would be okay for women to use, and women who have quite small hands as well would be able to use this no problem. So as I say, I've had 3 of these. I got the first one of these about 15 years ago and I used that a lot. That was fine, but that got stolen from me, which was fucking annoying. The second one I got actually broke, and the way it broke was this spring snapped, and it snapped in an extremely catastrophic way. So it snapped about here, and the piece that came off, there wasn't the bit that's wrapped around here that forms the spring part, flew off extremely fast, luckily in the opposite direction to my face and my eyes, and it left a pretty nice mark in my wallpaper. So that is potentially a safety issue. I contacted Park Tool and said my tools just snapped. Because I'm in Japan, I contacted Park Tool Japan. Park Tool Japan are shit, absolutely shit. Service is crap, which is sort of par for the course, really, for a lot of Western companies who have dealerships or offices in Japan. The Japanese office will often be extremely crap. I'm tempted to make a video entirely devoted to that, to be honest. But they were fucking shit. They tried to charge me to fix it, wrangled with them for a while, went back to Park Tool, the proper Park Tool, the American one, said, those jokers in Japan are trying to charge me to fix the fucking spring. They were shocked. I think they got in contact with them, and then the Japanese guys came back and went, oh, sorry, yeah, no, we'll do you a favour and do it for free. Fuck off, cunt. You're just trying to take the piss. So they just fucking gave it to me for free like they should have done in the fucking first place. And then I got a new one, and that is this one. Yeah, and this one's been fine so far. You'll notice it's got a bit of wear here, where that's been sort of rubbing slightly on it. These things are not made, to sort of Rolex watch standards, but it's, a $70, $80 unit, so whatever. Those really are the only issues I've had with it. In terms of good to bad ratio, this thing has, of course, been fantastic in that it allows me to check tension of my wheels all the time, build wheels for other people, check the tension of wheels for other people, which is a preventative situation, isn't it? For, stopping spokes snapping and keeping things in tune and all that. So do I recommend one of these? Yes, I do. I think they're very good. If you're in the US or the UK, definitely get one. If you're in Japan or somewhere where they use a fucking dickhead dealer, or they've got their own little office somewhere where the only reason they exist is because the local populace doesn't speak English, and then they're just, behaving like cunts. Yeah, but if you do have a problem with it, go back to the US company and get them to deal with the local dealer, which is the best way to do things, I think. But I think what Park Tool have made here is a very accessible tool to most people, and an extremely useful one, which I think that everyone should own if they're into cycling. If you get one of these for $70, $80, a Park Tool spoke key, which I'll review in another video, that's your wheels set. You don't have to pay anyone else to service your wheels, and you can get your wheels fixed instantly. And then you can get into wheel building, which is quality. So this tool is what it is. It's got its own little idiosyncrasies, but yeah, this is good.